Hello and welcome back to our life, where we will be doing Grown Up. Yes, I know. How exciting! We are all grown up now. Now, we're still in step 1. Grown Up's just the name of the moment. As you saw in our previous one, we did Fireflies, and now we are on to Grown Up. I'm quite excited on how this is gonna go. So, let's get into it. Such a nice wellness. One sweltering summer day, you were in your living room with Cove, listening to the sounds of the birds chattering outside the window, while you lay across the rug on the floor. Cove's dad had dropped him off earlier, and your moms left the two of you along with Lizzie to play amongst yourselves. It had been too hot to go outside in the afternoon, at least according to Mommy, so your sister was starting to get impatient waiting for a golf class that evening. The three of you had trouble finding something fun to do. The beach and the playground were off limits, and you fellas too weren't for anything like playing with your fuzzy toy animals. Then suddenly a light came to Lizzie's big brown eyes, and her smile spread wide across her face. Having an idea gave her a wave of new energy. Since we're stuck inside, we should be adults. They don't play indoors. They don't play outdoors anyway. They're always stuck inside telling everybody they're too busy to play. Why? I said why. And it'll be fun, duh. What do they do inside that we don't? Besides use the phone a lot. Excluding a small huff, Lizzie decides to ignore Cove. How rude. Callie, what do you think? Do you want to? I want to side with Cove. Probably gonna get crap from Lizzie. That'd be worth it. Who said it? It doesn't sound fun. Come on! Neither of you had one single idea all day. You could tell Lizzie wasn't about to give in anytime soon. Fine. The victory against Cove under her belt, Lizzie turned to you triumphant. I'll try, but that sounds boring. It's not gonna be, I guarantee. Guarantee you it will. Lizzie seemed more determined than ever, and you could only sigh. See, Cove and I are on the same way. In fact, grown-up stuff is boring as hell. I also don't remember playing grown-up. I probably have with Barbies. That's about it. Satisfied that neither of you were about to bail on her, Lizzie thought over her options while you watched. After a few seconds, she clapped her hands together and beamed, apparently having settled something without asking either of you. Okay, I'm going to be a professional golfer. Oh, let me guess, that's why you're taking golf classes. Callie, you and Cove can be a beach volleyball player, a gymnast, or a tennis player. Why can't we pick what we want? Because I have a fun idea, that's why. And we have to play sports as adults? Yep. But there are other sports too. It isn't the same. What do you think, Callie? Don't those choices sound super cool? You wanna be that, huh? Isn't there anything else we can be? Lizzie stomped to fill on the ground. Oh boy. No, come on, just decide already. Knowing Lizzie wouldn't let this go anytime soon, you sighed. Cove was not impressed with Lizzie's attitude, though he didn't bother taking... Just called taking. Though he didn't bother talking more about it for now. He thought of the list of possibilities. Beach volleyball, gymnastics, or tennis. Out of all of them, you'd prefer to play gymnastics. If you can spend the afternoon doing cartwheels and handstands in the backyard, then you might as well practice them inside. There wasn't as much space as there was outside, but you could still try. Yes, that was clearly the only option. Okay, I'm gonna be a gymnast. Alright! Oh, you go. I picked volleyball. Should have known. Okay, so Callie, you're a famous gymnast. And Cove, you're on the popular beach volleyball team. And Lizzie's ponytail bobbed when she proudly stretched her arms wide. We're Olympic athletes who just competed in the Olympics. Cove didn't seem all that impressed with the announcement. He just made a face and adjusted the glasses on his nose. That's really specific. Was she watching the Olympics the other day? Is that what she was doing? Rude. That's what makes it fun anyway. Lizzie marched back and forth in front of you. Yam lost her in her own imagination. I won all gold medals and people calling me the next Nikki Wright. I don't think she has. I think there might be a couple bronze and silver and like 2 gold at best. She's really cocky. I mean, that's okay, I suppose. You know, her personality though. I am just saying she is. She is cocky as it comes. Who's that? I don't know either, Cara. Lizzie stopped on the spot and turned on him. Her brown eyes shining with impatience. It doesn't matter if you know who she is, it's a gold thing. You guys won medals too, I don't know what the other one was. Cove, your team was bronze. And Callie, you barely missed out on gold and got silver. It's more real if we're not all first place. You stayed silent. You stayed silent and looked at your hands. Next to you, Cove leaned towards Lizzie with a frown. Sorry. Lots of people lose at the Olympics. Them's the breaks. Then you're the one who did, not me. I think you looked taken aback by Cove's declaration, as though the thought of her losing was completely absurd. No way! It wouldn't make sense, I'm already practicing my golf game. She took a golfing stance to make a point, pretending to swing her club in her invisible ball. So, what kind of house do you want to live in? Cove hadn't changed his mind about winning, but thinking about where he would live as an adult appealed to him. Apparently, because he looked back at Lizzie with some anger fading. I'm going to live at the beach. Lizzie made a face at him, poking out her tongue. It's kind of boring. We already have that. No, not like the normal houses here on the street. On it! Right on the sand, by the water. Just like that, all the tension was back. You hadn't even a chance to choose where you would want to live. That's not very smart. Smart, Cove. You can't live on a beach, live on a bunch of sand and shells. But I want to and I will. Cove narrowed his eyes at Lizzie, even though she stood with her head taller than him. You didn't give her a list of things to pick from this time, so I'm picking that. Why are we even playing pretend if we can't imagine anything? This is Lizzie's world, she's the boss. She likes to suck. Jeez, well, I'm gonna live in a mansion far from here. And far away from you. One with an indoor pool and a place to practice my award-winning golfing. Not fair. How come you were young on mine and your idea is more impossible? Lizzie's face flushed red, hands balling into fists at her sides. It's not impossible and it's better than yours. Nah, I like Cove's better. Disagreements always seemed to crop up when the two of them were together, and you always felt like you were stuck in the middle. When it came to the topic at hand, you thought you were tired of deciding between either of them. You wanted to agree with Lizzie, but Cove was right. Both idea is good. You shouldn't say yours is the only right one. No one asked for your opinion. He smiled slightly over the agreement, then turned to Lizzie with bolstered confidence. You can swim whenever you want if you live on the beach. We can still swim anytime we want from where we live now. Being a little closer doesn't mean anything, says you. The two of them scowled at each other. You're being so unreasonable. I don't get what you want. This game doesn't make any sense. It does. You have to be realistic. I said that. Lizzie, you are being realistic. Let's be honest. Out of the two of you, Cove is genuinely being more realistic. Because you can get houses on the beach. Literally. And yeah, you can get mansions as well, but that costs a ton of money. And I don't know any professional golfers that have that kind of money. And have a mansion. So I think she might want a different career path if she wants to live in a mansion. With an indoor swimming pool. And maybe just have golfing as a hobby? I don't know what else I can tell her. But you're not! You had no idea what to do to make them stop at this point. It seemed like the two of them would just keep working each other up as long as they could. Nothing you said so far had kept them from being mad. Thankfully, like a greeting card angel, Mom walked into the room. Lizzie rushed over to her, hanging onto the hem of her t-shirt, poking out her tongue at Cove. Lizzie, Callie, it's time to get ready to go. Sorry you have to leave already, Cove. Then Mommy said she'll walk you home so you won't be left in the cold. Cove was still glaring at Lizzie, his face flushed red with anger. I can go by myself, but... Bye, Callie. There was still a harsh edge to the brief farewell, but you knew it wasn't you he was mad at. Without giving Mom a chance to stop him, Cove stood up and stalked out of the room, shoulders drawn tight. Okay? Worried, Mom turned to look down at you and Lizzie. You were playing nice with our new friend, weren't you? You told the truth. We were playing pretend and things got intense. They were like cats and dogs. Your sister's jaw dropped, looking betrayed, as Mom put her both hands on her hips. Elizabeth! I told you to be kind to him. He's having a hard time right now. Lizzie's mouth closed back up, replaced with a tiny frown. I know, I tried, but he was... No buts. We both know you can show someone a great time when you put your mind to it. We are going to apologize to Cove and his dad over the phone when he gets home from work tonight. Lizzie hung her head, dragging the foot across the ground in front of her. Okay, Mom. Good girl. You caught pieces of Lizzie sulking to herself about how it was his fault too, but it was over. Right, we better get a move on. Let's go, kids. Nolani, where did you leave the car keys? Mom hustled you out the door. You noticed during the car ride to golf practice that Lizzie was quieter than usual. She was usually the first one to request which music to listen to in the car, but she didn't say a thing. Her parents noticed she wasn't in the mood to be bothered. They gave her a space, and Mommy just asked you what you'd like to listen to. Hell yeah! We get to play music. Oh, right. Do we do our favorite song? Or do we go with the soundtrack? The only soundtrack I can currently think of off the top of my head is from Deadpool & Wolverine. Mostly because that's the only one I've seen recently. I do want to go see Beetlejuice 2, but I might have to wait. Don't know if my dad would want to watch it. Let's go with our favourite song. It always made the car ride more fun. Eventually, Lizzie came around and started singing along with you. You both knew all the words, and your moms even sang along too. When the car ride was over, you spent the twilight hour watching Lizzie hit things with the other girls her age. You didn't know much about golf, but you could tell she really liked it. So you sat with your moms and tried to puzzle it out. It was nice sitting outside after being cooped up in the house all day. You stretched your legs to let the last few minutes of the sun warm your skin. When the sun was finally out of sight, dipping behind the horizon, you all got ready to leave. Instead of going straight home, your mums took the family out to dinner. You went to a restaurant you had all been going to ever since you could remember. The whole afternoon had been a bunch of shouting. You hadn't been able to stop, but you could kind of tell that this helped Lizzie be less angry. The car ride home was quiet, with only the radio providing escape from silence. Lizzie had been in bad spirits now, but the closer you got to the neighborhood, the more she wiggled in her seat and frowned out the window. She knew what was coming when you all got home. Clearly, she was dreading it. I don't think Lizzie knows how to say sorry. Soon enough, Mom was turning onto the street, then reversing into the driveway. When she cut the ignition, it was dead silent. No one spoke. Only unbuckled their seatbelts and opened their doors. Lizzie was the last one out. I want to assume that usually our character would be the last one out the car, and Lizzie is always like the first one. But because she's dreading something, she's taking her sweet time. Once everyone was inside and done taking off their shoes, she propped her hands on her hips. Now then, Mr. Holden's car is in his driveway, so he should be back from work. That's good news, isn't it, Elizabeth? You and Cove can hash things out before the day is done. Lizzie didn't complain or put up a fight. Her head ducked so she didn't have to meet anyone's eyes. She nodded once. Good, let's move this to the kitchen. Mom went over to the house phone, the rest of you following behind her. Molly put a gentle hand on Lizzie's shoulder as they walked side by side. You watched them from the back. This was only happening because you told him, Lizzie. Damn right! He's being a brat! And it's always good to tell the truth from now and then. White lies are good, but if it comes at the expense of someone's feelings, your friend or your sister, you can always mend stuff with your sister in the future. Friendships aren't always gonna last. You want to keep them close while they're still around. Besides, we have to live with Lizzie. We don't regret it. You're proud of yourself, recalling how Cove had left in such a bad way. Hopefully, time and Lizzie's pending apology would raise the spirits and smooth things over between them. The four of you stood around the kitchen in a lopsided square. So, a rhombus? A squircle? I do want to see an actual drawing of a squircle, but I don't know how to I don't know how to spell squircle at all. So I'll never see a proper drawing. Which is upsetting, spaghetti. All eyes were on Lizzie, who kept her gaze on her feet. You remember the number for Cove's house, don't you, honey? Lizzie jerked her head in another nod, sullen. Without further prompting, she stepped forward and she began to dial. Ooh. Mom reached over and pressed the button on the base. Suddenly you could hear the phone ringing. She turned on speaker. Wait, why are there letters on this? And I've got another one now. Where is the speaker on it? Why is it flash? I'm gonna have to get a screenshot of this and just get my dad to explain all this to me, because I know it's a landline, which are important things to have in every house, because that's how you get medication and stuff. That's what my nan told me anyway. So I know landlines are important, which is why they have it, I guess. The phone rang a couple of times, then stopped. Mr. Holden's warm voice came through the other end. Evening, Holden residence. Lizzie looked over at Mommy, unsure. She nodded encouragingly. Hi, Mr. Holden. It's, Lizzie. Can I talk to Cove?
Absolutely.
Lizzie Wolf? What a surprise. But of course, you can say hey to the boy. He sounded cheery as usual, though he definitely meant it when he said it was a surprise. You thought hard, and you were sure that your sister had never called Cove's house before. Mom spoke up before Mr. Holden or Lizzie could say anything more. Her arms were crossed over her chest, her lips pursed. Hi, Claire. Nolani, Kelly and I are here too. Good evening. We're sorry to bother you so late. You spoke up to say hello too. Hi, Mr. Holden. The gang's all here, huh? Is something the matter? His voice grew a bit concerned. Molly was quick to reassure him. No, well, yes, but it's going to be okay. Lizzie and Cove got into a bit of a fight today. We were hoping that the two of them could talk and make up. Is now a good time for you and Cove?
What?
A fight? Cove didn't tell me anything about that when I got hurt. It does explain the funk he's been in tonight. He chuckled lightly despite that. It didn't seem like he really thought it was funny. Anyway, it's good. You didn't catch us at a bad time. I'll go grab him for you. There was some shuffling on the other end. He must not have gone far because you could still hear him calling out. Cove! There's someone on the phone for you! After a beat of silence, there was more muffling from Cove's dad. Come on, bud. Lizzie called just so she could talk to you. Callie's on the other end listening too. Don't you want to say hi? It took a bit of back and forth, though the conversation seemed one-sided, since you couldn't hear Cove properly. Eventually, Cove took the phone from his dad.
Hi.
Hello? Hey, it's Lizzie. Yeah, I know. Dad told me. Cove's tone was defensive. Lizzie turned to Mom, scowling. One stern look from her, though, and Lizzie turned away.
Sorry.
I just called to say I'm sorry for not playing nice with you today. I won't do it again. She totally will do it again. Unless she can avoid Cove like the plague. Lizzie's eyes were downcast, her voice slow. You could tell she felt uncomfortable apologizing to Cove in front of everyone. She was still being genuine about feeling bad. Cove must have realized it too, because he sighed quietly. I want gold. And I think Kelly should win too. Really? You thought you were worth gold even though you hadn't wanted it? Lizzie was momentarily stunned by the demand. She probably forgot that even happened already. Alright, we'll all win gold. Okay. I guess I'm sorry too. A sense of relief washed over everyone at its acceptance of the apology. Mom uncrossed her arms while Mommy's shoulders relaxed. Lizzie's eyebrows raised. Wondered if she thought he would refuse her apology. Dad, can I get off the phone now? You couldn't see him, but it was obvious that Cove felt awkward about the situation. You'd come off uncomfortable the entire time, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go back to your room if you want. Be sure to say goodbye first, though. Bye, Lizzie. Bye. Bye, Callie. You picked up with the mention of your name and smiled even though you couldn't see it. Bye, Cove. With that said, Cove must have handed the phone back to his dad and laughed, since Mr. Holden spoke up.
That's a relief.
Oh, well, that ends well. As they say, thanks for arranging this. I'm sure he appreciates it. As Mom replied, Lizzie tugged on Mommy's hand to catch her attention. Can I go now, too?
Good job.
Sure, sweetie. Thank you very much for apologizing to Cove. Mom flashed a brief smile at Lizzie and nodded at her agreement. Given permission to leave, Lizzie scurried off towards the stairs. She seemed to be feeling much better with the incident behind her. Mom returned to the phone, taking off speaker. They continued talking to Mr. Holden. You couldn't tell what about. You got it all, and you were glad that was the end of it all. Lizzie and Cove might not get along, and still probably won't, but they weren't mad at each other anymore. Mom and Molly weren't upset either. Everything was finally back to normal. With that thought, you retreated to your own room with a spring in your step. And that is all for Grown Up. I now get why that was called Grown Up as well. Terrible. But hey, all's well that ends well. We'll see you for either shopping or long day, whatever one I decide to go for. Bye for now.